Thanks for tuning in to First Chapter Friday from the Alameda Free Library. This week I'm going to read a little bit of Barefoot Dreams of Petra Luna by Alda P. Dobbs. Here's what it says on the front flap of the cover. A riveting tale of one girl's dangerous journey to cross the U.S. border based on a true story. It is 1913 and 12-year-old Petra Luna's mama has died while the revolution rages in Mexico. Before her papa is dragged away by soldiers, Petra vows to him that she will care for the family she has left, her abuelita, her little sister Amelia, and her baby brother Luisito, until they can be reunited. They flee north through the unforgiving desert as their town burns, searching for safe harbor in a world that offers none. Each night when Petra closes her eyes, she holds her dreams close, especially her long-held desire to learn to read. Abuelita calls these barefoot dreams. They're like us barefoot peasants and Indios. They're not meant to go far. But Petra refuses to listen. Through battlefields and deserts, hunger and fear, Petra will stop at nothing to keep her family safe and lead them to a better life across the U.S. border. A life where her barefoot dreams could finally become reality. I'm also going to share a few reviews from the back of the book before I dive into the story. The back says, readers will love Petra, who is as strong as the black coal rock she carries with her and as beautiful as the diamond hidden within it. Brilliant and authentic, Petra Luna's dream will fill your heart with courage. Petra Luna's incredible odyssey in pursuit of her barefoot dreams is as vital and perilous and hopeful as that of today's dreamers. And here's Chapter 1 from this Sourcebooks for Young Readers novel, Barefoot Dreams of Petra Luna by Alda P. Dobbs. May 1910, a small village in northern Mexico. Citlaltenpopoca. The smoking star lit the night sky as women wept, holding their babies close. Men kept quiet while the old and the weak prayed for mercy. It was on that night that all of us huddled under the giant crucifix, the night when everyone but me, awaited the end of the world. Everything was assigned to us mestizos, from eclipses to new moons to burned tamales in a pot. I learned early on that all signs were bad. When sparks flew out of a fire, it meant an unwelcome visitor would show up. A sneeze meant someone was talking bad about you. If a metate, a grinding stone, broke, it meant death to its owner or a family member. But the biggest sign of all was Citlaltenpopoca, the smoking star. Papa's big boss at the mine called it a comet. It was some sort of a traveling star, he said, one that crossed our sky every so many years. To people like Papa's boss, that's all it was. But to us mestizos, it was the worst omen possible. The Aztecs, our ancestors, saw smoking stars as an omen announcing the death of a king. We had no kings, only a man who had been president since before Papa was born, and had he died, I doubt anybody would have missed him. These days, a smoking star meant something different. It meant war and famine. Yet others believed the star would come crashing down upon us, burning our homes and everything in sight. I didn't believe any of it. There had been plenty of unwelcome visitors to our hut, despite calm fires. Tiny babies sneezed all the time. Who could possibly talk bad about them? And I couldn't remember how many metates I'd broken in my life, but still, we were all kicking. My dream to go to school and learn to read had yet to come true. I did not plan on dying that night or any time soon. Little did I know that soon enough my world would turn into a nightmare. Still in my heart, I believed that the smoking star wasn't to blame for halting my dreams or for taking loved ones away or for bringing a war to my doorstep. A war so horrific and frightening, it reminded me of stories about the conquest of our people. Except this time our enemy didn't come from a faraway land. Our enemy lived among us. September 1913. La Promesa. There it stood, the perfect mesquite tree, thick branches, unburned and without bullet holes. I removed my shawl and lifted my long skirt high enough to climb. The tree's bark dug into my bare legs, but the pain from my empty stomach pushed me to climb higher. "Petra, what happened to the pants you had?" asked Amelia, my little sister. She was 6 years old, half my age, and had a question for everything. "Abuelita took them away," I said, steadying a foot on a gnarl. "She gave them back to Pablo." My cousin Pablo and I were about the same height, except I was 2 years younger and twice as hard-headed, according to Abuelita. "But they were your pants," said Amelia, putting her hands on her hips as she sat cross-legged. "Pablo gave them to you." "I know, but—" I grabbed the branch above me and struggled to pull myself up. "Abuelita said girls have no business wearing pants." In most families, girls had no business doing anything, except learning to cook, clean, sew, and care for babies. But Papa was different. He always pushed us to learn more. At least he had until the revolution snatched him away. "Mama would have let you wear them," said Amelia. I stopped at the mention of Mama and turned to Amelia. She wore the dress Mama had sewn for her days before she passed. It was brown with little yellow flowers. Amelia's only clothes were 2 dresses, and she wore this one almost every day. It was so soiled that it looked like winter had set on the little yellow flowers. And when I did the wash, no matter how much I scoured the dress against the creek's boulders, I could never bring spring back into them. I turned back to the tree and pulled myself over the next branch. "I miss Mama," said Amelia, hugging herself and stroking her small, scrawny arms. Half of my mouth gave Amelia a smile as I rubbed the sting and redness out of my hands. "Do you miss her?" said Amelia. I didn't answer. I couldn't. My heart was still too raw. Instead, I balanced myself to a standing position and grabbed another branch. Mama had passed a few hours after our baby brother Luisito was born, almost 11 months to the day. It still hurt too much to speak about her. "Petra, be careful!" Amelia's dark eyes grew wide and nervous as I jumped from branch to branch, holding my small axe tight. This was her first time coming with me. She had convinced Abuelita to let her, claiming she needed to learn what I did. In reality, I think Amelia needed time off from looking after Luisito, probably her toughest chore. I climbed up the tree as high as I could, found a comfortable spot, and began swinging my axe. It didn't take long to chop off enough wood to take into the village. Almost everyone in the village used coal, but after the mine Papa had worked in shut down, wood became the next best thing. Chopping and selling it was something I had to learn fast after Papa was gone, to keep us one step ahead of starvation. Amelia helped me load our donkey with the wood, and I helped her mount it. She immediately wrapped her small arms around the animal's neck. "I love you," she said to the donkey. "You're so hardworking and always smiling." "He's a donkey, Amelia. Donkeys can't smile." "Panchito can." "Panchito? You named the donkey?" "It was a strict rule. Don't name the animals. Names create bonds, and bonds tend to break, especially during war." "I know Abuelita won't like it, but someone as hardworking as Panchito deserves a name, right? Promise you won't tell her." Promise. The word churned inside my head day and night. 6 months ago, I had made the biggest promise ever when Papa was given the choice to join the Federales or be placed in front of a firing squad. On that day, I had run across town looking for Papa, and when I found him, I knew he had chosen not to join. Papa stood against a wall blindfolded, his hands tied behind his back. He faced a line of soldiers with rifles aimed at him. All I heard next were my bare feet running across the line of fire towards Papa and my screams, begging to be shot along with him. I held on to Papa as 2 soldiers came to pull me away. I kicked with all my strength, and over my screams I heard Papa shouting for them to let me go. But the soldiers didn't stop until Papa said he'd join their war. Before Papa was dragged away, I promised to take care of Amelia, Luisito, and our grandmother Abuelita. He then swore to return. After a deep sigh, I turned to Amelia. "I promise," I said, convincing myself that in a world full of darkness and uncertainty, there was always enough room for one more promise. That was a really, really riveting and moving first couple of chapters. Whew! I can't wait to read the rest. I hope that this interests you too. Check it out from the Alameda Free Library.